And welcome one and all to Stone Soup Poetry. It's already a different America, or so they say. Do you feel it quite yet? I don't know if I do, but I haven't been looking at 7 hours of inauguration footage. My only question so far is why Garth Brooks? But anyway, the night is still young. I'm glad you guys took time out of what must have been a heavy binge period of your day to pull your eyes away and come here to let off some steam, to maybe express grievances. It's a new world, and at least in its face, but a lot of things are still remaining. And I'm sure some of us are going to talk about that. Some of us are at least thinking about that. LOL chat, that's called healing. Hi, Nina. I hope you are reading tonight, and I hope other people are coming, or at least coming back, and we're going to get started on the open mic. But first, we're going to welcome our feature tonight, Art Collins. You can give your virtual your virtual clap, or a real clap, what have you. I think someone likes the around the world clap. I forget who that was, but Art Collins is a local Boston poet who was featured at Stone Soup before. It was a momentous feature hosted by Jason Wright, and I unfortunately wasn't there, and I've been trying for years to have him back, and I'm so glad we can do it now. It is going to be still a few more difficult months, and whether or not Stone Soup is able to celebrate its 50th anniversary live in May, we don't know yet, but we're going to certainly shoot for that and hope for that. And either way, it's still going to be a momentous occasion. I hope you're all part of that, and I hope the more and more of you join us week after week. Even after the pandemic, I'm still going to keep Stone Soup Online going in one form or another. So I'm looking forward to continuing that, and I'm looking forward to tonight. So let's get to the open mic. We do have the open mic, and then we do have the poets. So if there's anyone who very much doesn't want to be on the open mic, Nina's let me know, and at least one other person has private messaged me. Just please do so with that. Otherwise, if you're a regular here, if you've been here at least once, I'm just going to assume you want to be part of it. So I'm going to start calling names arbitrarily. And our first person on the open mic was actually our feature last week. He did have his first Stone Soup feature with us, and an online feature at that. And he's been joining us he's been joining us almost every single week since we started this shindig, and he's been published in numerous places. And as I said, he featured last week. He's not content to rest on his laurels, so he's back again on the open mic. He is a dedicated worker, so let's welcome up John Wezek.
Thank you, Chad. This is called Gentle World. An inventor modified AR-15s to accept Pez dispensers in their magazine feeds. Fighters traded boxing gloves for teddy bears. Doctors discovered chocolate and espresso worked better than surgery. And Cuddle Ryu, a new martial art, swept the nation. Cops traded pistols for squirt guns loaded with craft beer and disarmed suspects with the phrase, "You look like you need a hug." States converted prisons to animal shelters, burying inmates in squirming puppies. The military joined in. Cruisers bombarded shores with blueberry muffins. The Air Force dyed its uniforms purple and repurposed Minuteman II missiles to deliver pizza in 30 minutes or less. Russia responded with SS-19s loaded with kasha and piroshki. Not to be outdone, North Korea sent bottles of fiery soju marching across the DMZ after exploding its largest rice and kimchi bomb yet. Smallpox and Ebola mutated so the worst sufferers could expect was a mild paisley rash. Hurricanes apologized, dropping granola bars and bottled water in their paths. The San Andreas Fault worked off its aggression by swaying to the Grateful Dead. Somewhere in a fiction writer's mind, swarthy terrorists kidnapped the president's daughter and forced her to pole dance on a burning American flag. Noting the remote control's power button existed for just such an emergency, a top CIA analyst acted. Outrage collapsed to a glowing white dot on the TV screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Oh, great. We're getting more people coming on. That's excellent. And I'm going to welcome up next. He is not only a contributor to the open mic, he's a contributor to Oddball Magazine in terms of photography. Some of his photography is up today for the first of our post-Trump world posts, as I call them, not overtly political, but still some interesting pieces and some brand new voices. Check out oddballmagazine.com in the near future. It's we do have friends that we publish on a semi-regular basis, but the more new voices I get, the more excited I am. Hi, Dexter. Hi, Tony. And with that, we're going to introduce Mr. Galt. Might want to unmute yourself.
I hope you have been getting a lot of new voices. I have been recommending Oddball to different people I know in the photography world, so I hope they're coming forth. Anyway, this one is called Family Event. I'm in the car pulling up to park across from this church at a family event, perhaps a wedding or a funeral. People aren't dressed for a wedding, but nor are they dressed for a funeral. So I don't know. This car pulls up next to us. The guys are all smoking cigarettes. They tell me that the family is tired of me. They are embarrassed. My aunt turns to me and she says, "You look ill." Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
Family. And thank you so much, Chad. Let's go back to gallery and
Little post-holiday humor.
there you go. Let's see who we got next up on the open mic, ladies and gentlemen. Tisnia looks like she stepped out. I'm asking if she'll come back. I don't know what stopped her. I don't know what made her leave, so I'll just go down on the and we seem to have someone called Butterfly. Is this Nava the Butterfly, or is this someone else who's just listening? I just wanted to see who it was, or if you're interested in reading. If you rather not speak, you can definitely text in the. You can just definitely text me in the chat, and I'll get it. Okay, well, we'll move on and with Miss Jan Rowe. Jan, are you available?
Hi, I have a pleasant image for a change. I'm usually pretty glum. This is just a first draft. I sit in the third floor, triple decker, Dot Ave between Ashmont and the Kearney. I sit on a cedar chest from childhood, a cedar chest that my sister Bobby redid. She took the quote unquote brick contact paper off the top where we tap danced with leotards on our heads for long locks and sang along with Mitch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's go back to the list. And Adam Wise, I believe. Let's if you're available.
Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you.
Okay. I want to apologize for stepping away and missing some of the readings. That was Erin. Erin had called me and she wants me to say hi to you, Chad.
Oh, hi. Tell Erin I said hi back. Not right now. It's your turn to read.
Okay. I just want to start by saying there is a mention of the state of the country in this poem that is not at all related in whatsoever with the events of today. I just want to say that first and foremost. Okay, this is called It Crumbles. Nothing comes from out of nowhere. Horror movie jump scares are meticulously timed, like stand-up routines, nursery rhymes, and coffee cake. but the film cracks and fades, and the digital restoration won't play in the technology you second mortgaged your house for. And the jokes you've heard before, and that hack just won't shut up, and the crowds walk out the door, not tipping the waitstaff. And what the hell is a tuppet? Isn't 4 in 2024. London Bridge seems fine, and yet it crumbled. It starts warm on its plate, beside your first drug of the day, like your very first embrace, her breath on your neck. Newspapers crackle, the whole damn country goes to shit, not knowing they're gone tomorrow or helping someone move. The first crumbs topple like front doors creak open wide. Rich butter, curt cinnamon, slippery entropy. You ever hear the one about the horny stone city kids? The great fun to go whimsically into the woods? Forked tines impale the soft, moist flesh. Your sideways snide remark, her darting eyes, that decadent first faint flicker of contempt. Jack and Jill will fall down that hill. That hill is doomed too, in the length and breadth about you. Though it will not simply vanish, it crumbles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's see who we have next. We have one of our phone poets by phone. Not everyone has access to computers, but thankfully because of Zoom, we can access, we can be accessed via phone. And the first person who's coming on, she just has to press *6 to unmute herself. Has been a regular almost since the very beginning. Let's welcome up Nancy Dodson.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Kindness. Charity's kindness pervades joy, not for gain, but to help one's neighbor forget ruination of oneself. Maturity, a prize to catch, as in a net, kind friendships are caught and made eternally.
Thank you, Nancy. And we have coming up next back to one of our video participants. He's been our special musical guest for numerous shows running, and it's always great to have his interludes here in the middle of the mic. So let's welcome up Mr. Ethan Mackler.
Thank you. This is a spoken piece by, I believe, television writer Mason Williams. The censor sits somewhere between the scenes to be seen and the television sets, with his scissor purpose poised, watching the human stuff that will sizzle through the magic wires and light up like welding shops, the ho-hum rooms of America. And with the kindergarten arts and crafts concept of moral responsibility, snip out the rough talk, the unpopular opinion, or anything with teeth, and renders a pattern of ideas full of holes, a doily for your mind. Back to you, Chad.
Thank you very much, Ethan. And now it's time to go back to our another one of our phone callers. This person has been with us online. Funny enough, even though she doesn't possess a computer, she's been with our online group since the beginning. Actually, calling us from a recovery bed. She was in rehab for a little bit. She was recovering from an injury, and all throughout COVID in May and June, we were hoping she could get home, and now she is home, and now she's continuing to be with us, and we really appreciate that. And this is my great pleasure to welcome once more Miss Carol Weston, who I'm going to make sure is unmuted in 5, 4. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
I weep inwardly for the fallen mortal falling. That's to Donald Trump getting on his plane. To Biden, our country, this is all written 5 minutes before I got here, or after I got here. Our country had become a corpse, but today it rose in stature to the skies. Suddenly everything we wished is promised, not assured, but promised. And God bent down and put his hand on everything, the flowers of the world sprang up. The dead could not walk again, but the stars bent down and lighted them and lifted them until they were diamonds in the sky. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol. And now, who do we have next? Yes. This is a shorter mic than I expected, but that means we have a lot of people listening, so that's exciting as well. I never heard from you, Amy Carrigan, if you were interested in reading. I'm assuming not, but if you change your mind, I'm looking at the text messages. Let's it's now the return of the man who I like to call, because he likes to call himself this, Dexter. And they said, I've been told he has some poems for us. I guess Tony's sitting this one out, but maybe we can make her change her mind by the end of the night. But for now, Dexter's the man of the minute here, or the man of the 3 to 5 minutes. So Dexter, welcome back.
Thank you. 1 2 1 2.
Well, you're there.
I have a little story.
I was just saying you're there. We can hear you.
All right. Coming. 1 2 1 2. All right. COVID gave birth to OnlyFans after a one-night stand with cancel culture. Who knew she was the only man she was fucking? He says his cousin Wokeness saw brokenness coming out of COVID's apartment. Now, COVID's father, anxiety disorder, is none too happy. She's only 32, and cancel culture is poor. Cancel culture asks for a DNA test. COVID still proclaims that cancel culture is the father. Anxiety disorder, her father, contemplates shooting this man. Now, this man, cancel culture, was no ordinary man. He knew people in low places. So when anxiety disorder complained to social media, his words fell on deaf eyes. Being, some say, cancel culture went to the same college as social media. When anxiety disorder heard this, he grabbed his gun, then went looking for cancel culture. Driving is LGBTQ, who saw cancel culture coming out of a Walmart. Anxiety disorder picks up his gun. LGBTQ yelling, hurry up, there you go, shoot. Anxiety points, aims, shoot, yells LGBTQ. Same time, racism is going by. Anxiety disorder shoots. Cancel culture heard the shots, grab racism, another shot, racism's hit twice, in the foot and in the head. Racism's man's Black Lives Matter shot back, hitting LGBTQ, who crashes into a parked car. Anxiety disorder jumps out, firing wildly. Cancel culture, who's shot by racism, anxiety disorder running in the opposite direction. Racism hits from anxiety disorder, running, looking in the wrong direction, shooting, suddenly gets hit by a car driven by COVID.
Mm. Mm.
That's what I heard in the news today. So I know the inaugural is going on, but this news, I had to report this to you guys. So.
Thank you very much, Dexter. And let's see who we have next. Well, it looks like unless there's other people who want to join us, and I think I've gotten no's from all the quiet listeners. And thank you if you're just here and listening. We do appreciate that as well, and I'm sure Arthur does too. Let's have us end this open mic with Mr. James Van Loy, another oddball stalwart. His column, It's All One Thing, is published every Thursday morning without fail at 11 in the morning. That'll be coming up. That'll be tomorrow. Can't wait to see what we have in light of the last few days, hell, in light of the last couple of weeks. And let's welcome up James right now.
Okay, thank you. So I got a poem here called Mega Man, or It's All in the Plan Man. Mega Man, it's all in the plan man. Out on the common again, friends. Someone says, I thought you'd left us. When I got there, right on time. A street evangelist already railing on about there's only one way salvation. Aren't you depressed? Aren't you anxious? Aren't you too full of Thanksgiving turkey? As I lay down the colors in my new chalk, the first one I've had since the spring, until my Indigenous Peoples Day design is in bright colors on top the dim form, and it says entree and for peace. And at the center, after walking it, once again I write end and the war, and then here with be and now, before and after the here. And I look up and I see the preacher who is from out of town, railing on about all those with too much not listening and decrying the cathedral on the other side of Tremont as a supposed church, when no one needs a church if they just know Jesus, he says. And I see all around him the members of the Manna community from the cathedral, many still homeless, who ate their meal on Thanksgiving down in Old Sprout Hall, knee the crypt hall of the cathedral. And let me sing a quick song. Blue moon, you saw me standing all alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard someone whisper, please adore me. When I turned, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Gen Zero Blue Moon.
Thank you, James. And I'm going to, there we go. Everyone that needs to be muted is muted. And we can now go to the feature for tonight. I should have gotten this information from Arthur. I'm still getting used to the system, but if there is a if there's a PayPal or a Vimeo or a Venmo or a Patreon that you have that other people can subscribe to or pay out for your services tonight, please let us know. Even if it's just a simple PayPal account, we have people who are willing to contribute to that. I am certain it's the best we can do right now. We have currently, I'm just paying for the services for the Zoom to keep us going. That's a very low rent, thankfully, and I do try and contribute on my own part. But if everyone else can contribute a little bit, you can make it worth the poet's time. It's you can let them know that you value their time doing this, as I value all the poets who have been featuring here. And last week I made up for lost time and gave PayPal, Venmo, and Patreon links to all the people who featured in the last month or so. And I thank everyone who went back to those in order to book or joined a Patreon or just even sent a few bucks their way. If you can continue to do that, that would be fantastic. And with that, and we might have one encore poet afterwards. Someone requested that, and I think I can allow it. I think Arthur will as well. But let me bring up the boilerplate bio for tonight's feature, and then we can get started. And I can do the best thing. I can do the one thing I do best, and that's shut up and let the poet read. Tonight's feature is Art Collins, described as thus: a Boston poet who believes that there is extraordinary power in words and considers his poetry to be socially conscious as well as entertaining. He hopes that his brand of poetry will motivate action, provoke thought, and stimulate the mind of the listener. Art is co-host of the Lizard Lounge Poetry Slam venue and was a member of the 2008, 2010, 2016 to 2019 Lizard Lounge National Poetry Slam team. He is an educator in the Boston public school system and continues to perform his unique style of poetry with the aspirations of reaching global audience. So join us tonight. I appreciate everyone. Let's hope we are engaged. It's been a long day. We've seen a lot. I know after the last 4 years, my first reaction can be to sleep too, but I'm glad we're all awake tonight. I'm glad we're all ready to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, either virtually, visually, or however you want to do it, put your hands together, let's say 20 to 30 times for Mr. Art Collins.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. And please, payment for being here is just enough for me. I do it for the love, never for money. Well, not always for money. So let's dig in. I wrote this piece in 2018. It's called Doomsday Preppers, but I think it's appropriate to start us off considering where we're coming from and where we're going. The apocalypse is now. Fall out or seek shelter. Chains of events have kept our pain linked like fences. My best defense is my brain, a think tank designed for frontline combat. Words are the vehicle that I use to fight. A pen-wielding knight shining bright with melanin-coated armor and heavy firepower. Sharper images appear nocturnal. Internal, I struggle daily. I have a therapeutic rapport with my journal. Stories telling of changing times while living while under attack by fellow Americans whose political views are selectively cataract. Glaucoma gray lenses, only believing in what we think we are seeing, but looks are deceiving. Isms are the mental prisons that incarcerate our logic and reasoning. I have reservations about the treatment of indigenous nations. The head of state seeks to illegally alienate, not make America great for the Commonwealth or the greater good. Behold a pale horse. The universe will conspire to help us find our purpose if we listen for what's beneath the surface. Now, the converse is also true. Homeland Security is also watching you. Real life imitates editorial cartoons. National buffoons boldly lie. Shuck and jive. Coon and gossip. Animating war stories. Viral videos are toxic. Self-exploitation is contagious. The way we have assimilated is dangerous. Stay ever ready. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Survival is mandatory, not optional. Morally, my fiber optics envision a better tomorrow. So let me check in. How do you feel on a scale from 0 to 10? Well, I guess that depends on what side of the fence we fall. What's the difference between self-defense mechanisms and Donald Trump's wall? On paper, this reads from left to right, West Wing to Middle East. On paper, this reads in black and white. Conserve your energy and fight for the folks most deserving. Capitalism is hardly sorry for your misfortune. This is anarchy. Get ready. Take note. Gas masks, bug out bags, food, water, toilet paper, and soap. Pardon me, I got a lizard stuck in my throat. Sketch it, artists, draw upon your own experience. Who are the main characters and what are their characteristics? Be the narrator. Don't sell me a tall tale, liar. All lies are fecal matter, and I heard you got bullshit for sale. But I dare you to tell the truth. The Last of Us doomsday preppers have a foolproof plan for when shit really hits the fan. You don't understand my words, but you must choose the ball or the sword, or sounds like wailing winter winds will be heard. I am the hybrid blend of a thug and a nerd. Call me a third. I am black power and pride, bruised on the inside, heart burning like a furnace, exoskeleton of charred epidermis from the meltdown in 3, 2, boom. All right. Got me excited. It's been a while since I've done some poetry. But I like to make connections to what's going on in the real world. And I have this aspiration of writing sci-fi poetry. So I wrote this piece because I'm a video gamer. I love video games. And there's a popular game that was on a while back called On the Little Big Planet. So I took the titles of a lot of my favorite video games and I put them into a story that I think reflect what I see in the world. So I want to share this piece with you also. I wrote this in 2012. On a little big planet, the deep impact of bioshock waves has a mass effect on an ever-growing civilization on the brink of a major crisis. Patented, licensed nanotech devices unleashed a parasitic man-made plague. 28 days later, a resident evil resided under the umbrella of greedy corporations. Fear was a contagion. Rampant, splintered cell mutations spread throughout the populace, every suburb, every borderland, every metropolis. The fallout was catastrophic. Earth's atmosphere became toxic. A heavy rain ushered in the darkness as civilian casualties rose, great nations fell, and military resources were exhausted. The viral infection spawned and went airborne. It's in the game. No longer a dormant bench warmer, but a genetic transformer changing humans into zombie hordes of the walking dead. Condemned, X-Men marveled inside a self-inflicted necromantic limbo. And so it was written, predicted by religious fanatics. Democratic blue men tried to regroup, while the Republicans' red faction's need for speed created another World War Z. Humanity appeared to be doomed. From dead space, satellite zoomed, an angry bird's eye view from the sky's rim, a telescopic portal to our lost world. This was the day that Mother Earth stood still. Her son died. A resonance of fate reverberated through her silent hills. She cried monsoons, reflecting her rage off a crescent moon like a broken mirror's edge. I am legend, pledging an assassin's creed, a black ops mercenary on a ghost reconnaissance mission. Awaken all the forsaken lost souls, while elders scroll through the obituary columns of all the fallen Smith & Wesson adolescents who were blown into oblivion by a soul caliber. As the radioactive dust settled amongst the twisted metal and crumbling Tetris blocks, bullet storms of street gangs tried to compete against a covert sniper elite. gripping the wood stocks, metal barrels, and blaze blue calamity triggers of loaded guns. This was the day that Mother Earth stood still, scratching her name of sons who died off the hitman's list and kissing their portraits bye-bye. Now the devil may cry, but not likely. He was mad and burnt out, seeking revenge against the big brother almighty. Highly upset, Diablo leapt from the depths of Dante's Inferno, sending out a thermal warning in the form of a global warming. We didn't intend, though, for this to happen. It was a far cry from the utopian Final Fantasy that we all imagined. God must be the driver of a crazy taxi, with Miss Daisy riding shotgun sporting a halo, heading inbound to Armageddon. Chariots of torchlight descended from the heights of heaven, casting the shadow of Colossus back over a rainbow 666. It was a multiplayer deathmatch, an Unreal tournament, where half-life occurred in a blur, split seconds before mankind's epic fail. It is left to be seen just who will prevail in this sequel between good versus evil.
As someone who had to give up gaming just because of time and constraints, I just want to give you a big collective, I see what you did there.
Thank you. So I hope it may not have made, I hope the story made sense, even if you didn't understand all the video game references.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna send a link to that to Jim Sterling, who is a big gamer activist / journalist. I think he'd love it.
Nice. How much time do I have?
Keep going. You got I say you got like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. So I'm trying to give a variety of different things. So this is a piece that I wrote that's kind of means a lot to me. And it's called The Forgotten. Let me just read it. I wrote this in 2018. The older Black men get, the less the world cares about us. It stares at us through judgmental, dry eyes. FYI, men do cry when we're alone because we too get lonely. But no one cries when we die except our mothers, lovers, and dead homies. I'm the only good son to my mom and my pop. Our murders and suicides are increasing. I am no longer afraid of death, but I am deathly afraid of being shot, being dehumanized, no right of safe passage. Even though we code switch, we wear the mask. My younger counterparts wear their pants sagging as if to say, you can kiss my ass. And I ain't mad at that because it is now as it always was. What I want for myself, I want for my bros. Visualize this love because we are the invisible men that Ralph Ellison spoke of. Extinct, on the brink of a human being forgotten, rotting away inside the strict pipelines of public schools and private cells, rotting away inside our self-esteem. It seems that people who want the most tolerance are the least tolerant. Assholes. Did you witness the outright murder of Philando Castile? Woman by his side, baby in the backseat when he was killed. They say be vulnerable, but when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, vulnerability gets us killed. I should warn you that I am armed with intelligence. 48 years of qualitative research, data collections, and documented evidence. I wanted the results to be more joyful and happy. Once upon a time, I was eager and scrappy, but even the mightiest of warriors get tired of fighting, get tired of trying to enlighten while at the same time be enlightened. We are the sons of light, Allah's reflection, a solar kufakiri, caught in the blind sights of your animosity. Yin does not exist without yang. Even ancient philosophers knew that the world evolved through reciprocity. Dark, bright, fire, water. I am a paradox speaking candidly and honestly because honesty is a characteristic that has become mystical. One day the guilt will consume the very same poetry venues that were meant to bind us, remind us that our words become legacies and should remain timeless. But death is where you'll find us, amongst our fallen brethren. But we don't die. We simply ascend to the higher heights of heaven, from boys to men to deity. Visualize this love. We are the invisible men that Ralph Ellison spoke of. Cotton pickers, slaves, and sharecroppers, inventors, judges, teachers, and doctors on the brink of a human being forgotten. All right. So I'm trying to show a little bit of diversity in what I write. I grew up in the era of hip hop, and I make a lot of hip hop references. I have a rhyming style, and I've learned to be okay with that because it's who I am and it's how I write. And I hope you can appreciate it. But there are depths to us all as beings, and sometimes we only see what's on the front and never see what's inside. So I wrote this piece. It's called Social Butterfly, because I think the perception is if you're a performer, people see you as this social entity, but they, folks don't realize that I'm really very introverted, and that's not what may be displayed in public by people who know me. And so this comes from some mistrust, some brokenheartedness, social butterfly. Love is easy. It means that we do for each other, but I won't ask you for nothing. I never really needed you to get where I'm going. It would have been nice to live life knowing that there's someone with support in your corner when the bell rings, and someone with the water for the heat that this hell brings. Synonymous is what we would be. No broken promises, just you and me for a lifetime. I wrote rhymes for your imagination and took you on vacation through a mental stimulation of your mind. You'll never find another love like mine. I've fallen deeply in love with women who didn't love me back, and I hurt the ones whose love was unconditional. My actions were unintentional, of course, and I've never been married. It would only end in divorce. Relationships were sport, a game to a gamer. And in the words of Big Pun, I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. And that ain't to brag. I am a drifter, a grifter, a weightlifter, still dragging heavy bags of emotional baggage. And it's very much possible that I am an undiagnosed sex addict. Michelle La Poetica said that I was charismatic. She said people are drawn to the way that you speak, the elements of your style. You are a public figure of your speech. Can't separate the art from the man. I am the master of deception, a con man using the art of redirection. True story. Do not focus on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. I am the misogynist who had the privilege of raising 3 dynamic daughters, protect them from people who scheme and scam. I am the womanizer who accepted the piece of ass offerings, an introverted social butterfly, flit, fluttering, flim flam. I am the ugly duckling who dreamed of being a swan, that scrawny nerd no longer allowing myself to be bullied or picked on. I am that toxic alpha male, menacing societal threat, striving to be altruistic, but I still haven't gotten there yet. I am a grown ass man. In some ways, I'm still an immature boy, and nobody wants to play with used, broken toys. And I get it. Sympathetic, this heart does feel sorrow, sometimes feels hollow. Don't walk in front of me because I may not always follow. Empathetic, don't walk behind me because I may not always lead. Often chasing after beauty instead of pursuing what I really need, someone to walk with me. I am lost in this space amongst all these stars in the horoscope of their astrology. I'm learning to forgive myself, but can you find it in your heart to accept my apology? I am that sinner man in search of forgiveness and a blessing from above. Because at the end of the day, a man is no better than the pain he's caused the people he loves. All right. I like to think of myself as being somewhat humorous sometimes. So I want to share a piece. It's called Sometimes You're the Statue. My good friend Pat Rossi, which some of you may know, She challenged me to write a nature poem, and I thought about my experience with nature. I grew up in Dorchester, and so I'm a city guy, and there's not many trees and nature, but there's beauty all around us. So I wrote this poem about pigeons, and it's called Sometime You're the Statue. Pigeon is a very interesting bird, so let me talk about it in this poem with you. Goes the sound of the pigeon as they trot across decaying sidewalks, picking at the slums, discarded crumbs. Yesterday, one asked me where I was from. His voice was distinctively clear. I replied, I don't know, little homie. My ancestors didn't migrate here. Black folks journeyed on an impossible mission. Silently reflecting, I took a moment and just listened to the Negro of birds. We chilled for a few and just talked. He tapped his bottle 3 times and shared his 40-ounce of private stock, showed me some love. This beautiful, dark-colored, resilient animal is a descendant of doves. Now that's a fact, but I bet y'all didn't know that. The pigeon is a fearless urban leader. Just ask my mechanic Pep down on Warren Street. He's a pigeoneer and a pigeon breeder. He schooled me, told me that they were courageous and stupid smart, can be highly trained and taught, and more like a street gang than not, hanging on the corner, the stoop, or your local barbershop. Now they thrive in cold weather and hot, and I like to give them rap names like Waka Flocka Flame, because they just be dropping stuff on you. The pigeon is gangster and raw, doesn't give a care about your newly washed car. He'll fly up to your windshield calmly and say, yo, show me some respect. The pigeon is a U.S. Army vet. In both world wars, they were used to great effect, saving thousands of lives, carrying militant messages across enemy lines. Now, the most famous, his name was G.I. Joe. He flew 20 miles in 20 minutes to warn troops of an Axis attack. Now, that's a fact, but I bet y'all didn't know that. The pigeon can flap their wings 10 times per second, reaching altitudes as high as 6,000 feet. Heart rate per minute averaging out at about 600 beats. The pigeon is vegan, mostly eating fruits, plants, and seeds, and some can even read all the letters of the alphabet. They have exceptional sight. Monogamous and faithful, they co-parent, and they choose one mate for life. Now, I bet y'all ain't never seen a baby pigeon before. That's because pigeons are private. They don't reveal themselves to humans until they are fully mature. Now, that's a fact, but I bet y'all didn't know that. Owls are wise, but the pigeon is brave enough to socialize amongst the who's who, artfully dodging the hard-bottom dress shoes of hurrying hustlers and the dusty steel-toe romp of construction workers. But they are always aware of a sneaky kid's fresh kicks. The pigeon is city slick. They got criminal ties. They know how to survive. Fly by pooping, doing what they have to. Because sometimes you're the pigeon, but sometimes you're the statue. All right. I don't know where to go from here.
Nice.
But I do have one last poem, if we have time.
Sure.
All right, and I want to share my screen. Can I share my screen to do this poem?
Yeah, let me just do a quick, I should be able to, there you go. And let me make sure that.
All right, it's working.
Okay, good.
Okay, so this particular piece is called The Alchemist. Now, I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm going to try to do it. Can I do the presentation? It's called The Alchemist. I wrote this poem. It's about all my favorite books, of which The Alchemist is one, and The Celestine Prophecy is the other. So I wrote this book in hopes of getting more kids, particularly Black boys, into reading. So let me try, bear with me and see if I can get this one going here. All right. I am an author using unique patterns of speech, street lecturer, charted with a task. Teach the students the shift within historical movements. civil rights to pro-life. I am the Martin Luther King of a Blue Hill Avenue. Black cat on a hot tin roof, staring at the sky, wondering why, in Toni Morrison's novel, Piccola wanted the bluest eyes. I'm a multifaceted wordplay fanatic, got that abracadabric poetic magic. Some drag on fantastic, extinct like dinosaurs, Jurassic. Roll of thunder, hear my cry. Let this circle be unbroken. Ah! I cannot remember. Let this circle be unbroken. I am the alchemist on a personal legend, searching for treasure, protecting my herd. I'm that last nerve pincher, bench pressing stress from my hairy chest. From the Northeast coast, I am a Patriot fan who wears red socks. Now I've shadow boxed with lighter shades. I'm a re-inspired, retired fighter, standing at the scratch line, holding my favorite book by Maya Angelou's son, Guy Johnson. My art attacks you through, part 2. Echoes, echoes, echoes of a distant summer. I will arrest you, police your poetic license. My beef is bison injected hot, molten rock lava. Some of them, they more like an iced cup of Java. Pray to the Holy Father, a black from the bean talks. Caffeine for those who daydream when they sleepwalk. Wake up, this is school on Sunday. No class. Oh, put your hands down because the answer is don't ask. At night, I write on a round table. I hit up poetry jams a lot. I'm that undercover, peanut butter, loving brother. Parable of the sower. I am Octavia Butler spreading my earth seed because God is change. All you have to do is read my lips. Now it's instant gratification. The moment I open my mouth and words come out. Fall to your knees like a peasant. Then unwrap my gift of gab. It's a present. My strategy, break down physical anatomy, then enter through the central nervous systems of my victims. I'm a genius with intravenous meaning to this logic. I see the big picture, but some are stuck on microscopic. Now I'm the topic of your girls' conversation. We could drop it, no comment. Articulate, try to hang with my slang and get lynched. Strange fruits turn the color purple when detached from the roots. Now the truth is, a hero ain't nothing but a sandwich. So I brandish outlandish rants while sycophants bow to authority. East to Cornell West, race matters. I speak bluntly. Ask Rufus Scott, the jazz drummer from the novel, Another Country. I am the spook who sat by the door. I am Othello amongst this army of poets. I want more. I'm the leader of a new school, but you can call me Daddy Cool, because last words are for fools who haven't said enough. I want to thank you all for allowing me to share and be in your presence. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Art. Come on, 20, 30 to 40 more times. Why not? Because for Mr. Collins. Is there a book coming out in the future, sir? I've never seen a collection.
So for years and years and years, I didn't do it. I have a book in the works. I'm stuck on the cover. It's actually called Soapbox Sermons, A Black and the Bean Talks. The book is complete. It's complete except for the cover. And my hope was to get it out last year, but I definitely will get it out within this new year. I do have a website. You can check it out. It's called artcollinsthepoet.com.
Gotcha.
And so if you get a chance to check that out, please do so. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Art. We did have one more poet who wanted to come on and read. She found something, and I think, let me get the gallery view to see if she's still here. And she is still here. Nina, are you ready to read?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
How's everybody doing? Happy New Year.
I guess we're doing great. I guess the encore stage is yours right now. This is great.
Yeah, I really love what you did, Art. It was magnificent. And I do want to read your book, so I'm going to go sign up for emails. website. I have a picture of myself up with a friend of mine who recently passed away. I'm still in mourning, so that's my Zoom face. It's she and I together. Irvine Golson, who is the deputy director of ABCD for over 30 years, and a really, really strong supporter of young women and getting them to stand up as full human beings in this crazy society. So what I'm reading to you today is a letter that I wrote as part of a project called Black Voices to work with a Colombian, Medellin Colombian choreographer. And so he chose us according to these letters. And so my time had been taken up very much so with community organizing. So that's what this letter is about. And a little bit of it is in Spanish. So I think it's kind of self-explanatory. If not, I can translate any parts people want to hear. So here it goes. The artist's name was Rafael. The nickname for Rafael is Rafi. Querido Rafi, mijo, it's been a long time since we last wrote. Han pasado tantas cosas. As you know, the old neighborhood is not what it used to be. Not only did the management company make over the building, which is nice, but many people have moved. Everyone is grateful for the update and all the hard work of Doña Lopes and Doña Ortiz to make it happen. But the hard part is what is happening outside our building, in other buildings, and on the street. Grant Manor just had their rents double overnight. Imagine, one day you're paying 30% of your income, y la próxima is doubled. How are poor people supposed to pay? And Rafi, remember how we sometimes saw gente con problemas regarding drogas? Well, now it's like, I'm sorry, just got a phone call. I'm trying to interrupted my reading. Okay. Remember how we sometimes saw gente con problemas regarding drogas? Well, now it's like we are living in a country that is only about drugs, homelessness, and crime. It's very painful to see people living in cardboard tents, rolling shopping carts filled with stuff, half naked and high on the sidewalk. And it's not just a few men. It's men, women, and teenagers, and they are everywhere. The new neighbors are so upset. Many are selling their condos and moving, but some are fighting it, protesting, and calling out to the mayor, the governor, and the rest of the politicians. No more oxy. Open the bridge. No more feces and people over profit. Some people from our building are joining the protests too, and I'm thinking of joining them this week. You know, Rafi, the city didn't pay any attention to us in this neighborhood until our viejos died that owned the houses down the street, and Los Blanquitos moved in and started fixing the houses up. Remember Mr. and Mrs. Smith? And how they couldn't get any help to fix their roof or their porch. But as soon as they died and their children sold their house, now their building looks like $1,000,000. Que tristeza. The university is building another tower. It's over 20 stories high. So many students and the people who ride bicycles have taken over the streets. Ay, Dios mío, qué insanidad. The one place where we can get some peace is the park. And now that's being taken over by the opioids, las drogas. And the city calls itself Fixing the Boulevard, named after Senora Mania Cass. And now they want to kill over 100 anciano trees. It is like they don't want people, and especially not poor people, to live. We can't breathe, we can't walk, we can't sit, we can't live. Estamos debajo de ataque. ¿No es cierto? What are we going to do, Rafi? I'm not getting any younger. I worry about my grandchildren. Where will they live? How can they afford it? But it's not all bad news. TT is having another baby. She's due the first of the year, and everyone is excited about painting a room and getting the baby furniture together. And Junior just got a new job helping the community center register people to vote and translating the paperwork for our people. So let me stop here, and I hope that you come home in time for Christmas. We miss you. Mucho cariño y besos, Abuelita Nina.
Very nice, Nina. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And with that, I think we've all had a long day today, running a little early, but I suspect anyone else who would be coming on by now, especially Bill and others, are long asleep. So they'll just have to listen to tonight's show tomorrow around 8 o'clock on YouTube and be jealous, or catch the live feed. And I do want to give another thank you to Arthur for an amazing reading. When the book comes out, definitely let us know, and we'll get you back either live or online to Stone Soup to have you sell the hell out of that, because I'll definitely be looking forward to that as well. Next week, we hope to have I hope to have an announcement or hopefully by tomorrow or Friday, I'll hopefully have an announcement for next week. It's my new goal now for 2021 to always have the new person ready to announce at least by Friday. I've been falling short of that for months, but and I'm also trying to I'll at least let you know this by now. For now, the poet who I want to feature is actually going to be doing a feature to help save the Dudley Cafe. Isabella, aka Blackbird, is reading alongside Now with the Butterfly live, and I'd like to maybe have her do it. I'll just call it a warm-up feature, also to raise awareness of the Dudley Cafe, which not only is an amazing fixture of what's now called Nubian Square in the Roxbury area of Boston, it's also been a home for Stone Soup and numerous other reading events that I've been lucky to either have helped co-organize or help assist, or even organize myself and be a part of for Stone Soup. We've had some amazing poets read there, and I'm hoping that that place can continue to thrive. But of course, there have been some fundraisers going on for some time, and at the very least, I'll be promoting that event. I don't know if I'll be going live myself to the event, but apparently is going to be a live, socially distanced event. But you can also donate online as well. So I'll be raising awareness of that and thanking Blackbird for her help in saving what's been an amazing ally into Stone Soup and for poets in general. So more on that later, and hopefully more will be announced in the coming weeks for new features for 2021. I've gotten suggestions over the last few months, and I've been hesitant in asking anyone because I wasn't sure how things were going to go online, but we're doing great. So I'm going to start asking those people. And if you have suggestions yourself, definitely let me know. It's a new year in Oddball Magazine, and more voices are wanted and more voices are coming to us. If you know anyone who's interested, just go to oddballmagazine.com and guidelines are there. And we might even be doing a new issue of Stone's Throw and other announcements in relation to Oddball Magazine's publishing. Definitely check that all out. We're going to be hitting the ground running for. It feels like the year just finally begun. Like it's like 2021 just kind of officially started. Let's keep our guard up and keep hoping for good stuff. At least when Friday comes, you know that the week's going to end, at least for the White House, because Joe Biden needs his sleep. So no insanity for the weekends for us to mull over. So I'll be glad about that. But definitely, if you guys have anything to announce as far as your own spoken words, if your own publications, go to the Stone Soup Poetry Facebook page. And if you have any other information you want to promote via email, you can email me at chadpoetforhire@yahoo.com. Several ways to get in touch with us and to keep in touch with us, and I hope you do that as well. And now I am going to have us do the obligatory wave. So anyone who still has their cameras up, this is where we do the goodbye, so I can have it in full view, and then we stop so we don't look like we have blurred hands or doing something obscene. Okay, there we go. And thank you again to Art Collins. I'll be linking his website later on Facebook. Definitely visit him and definitely stay tuned for his book. We'll have him back, I think, sooner than even I think. Hopefully this book will be coming through before the end of the year, and hopefully you'll be able to sign copies at our gallery again in the future. Thank you, everyone. Have yourself an excellent night. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for participating or just listening. And the show's over. See you next time.